Hi friends, in this video we are going to discuss about file system. So if anybody missed the previous videos file system 1 and 2, first watch those videos, then come to this video. So in this video we are going to discuss about the topics file systems, file system mounting, partitions and mounting, file sharing, virtual file systems, remote file systems, consistency semantics, NFS. So file system deals with how your storage devices are organized into different partitions. Okay, so because there are so many storage devices available, okay, so how your operating system and your file system handlers divide the storage divided into different parts. In general, devices can be partitions divided into partitions which hold volumes. That means volume can have multiple partitions. Okay, so this procedure is called, generally we call it as formatting. Okay, and there are so many types of file systems available that depends upon the operating system. So there are so many types, FAT32, FAT16, NFS, NTFS. So different file systems are accepted by the different operating systems. Not all the operating systems follow the same type of file system. That depends on the operating system and file systems. If both are compatible, then we can use those kinds of file systems for formatting the storage devices. So in this diagram we can observe that storage device organization. See here, there is volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 having partition A of the storage device, and these two partitions are for a storage device. For a single storage device there are two partitions and each partition is labeled as volume. Okay, volume 1 having partition A having some directory and files. Here also volume 2 having partition B having some directories and files. When you observe this case, here there are two storage devices, device 2 and device 3. Both are having single partitions, and volume 3 accessing these two storage devices. So you can combine two devices and make it as a single volume. That depends on the file system you are going to use. What file system you are going to use. If the file system support the combination of the devices, so the operating system also supports this kind of partitioning system. So here you can see the different terminologies: partitions and mounting, boot block, root partition and mount point. So the partition can be a volume containing a file system or sequence of blocks with no file system. When you say a partition can be a volume, it contains a file system, or without file system also it contains sequence of blocks. Okay, and boot block can point to boot volume. Boot block means it consists of boot volume where the operating system, the kernel part will be loaded. That is called boot volume. The main part of the operating system, not all. Okay, it contains the information how to load the operating system also. And the root partition contains the operating system. Suppose you install the operating system in your computer, the operating system content will be loaded on a partition, that is called root partition. And mount points specifies the location at which they can be accessed. So suppose you are generating one file, that file is linked with the file system available in the storage device. Mount points link your file into the existing file system available in the storage device, so that you can access that file through the operating system. Those are called mount points. So the next topic is file systems and mounting. So here I am taking a Unix file system as an example for easy understanding. So if you observe, there are three diagrams. The first diagram for Unix file system directory structure. This is a Unix file system directory structure. Here the root is / is called root node. root directory in Unix file system, then users, then there are different directories available. All the directories are pictorially represented as one tree structure. Okay, this is a normal Unix file system. If you observe the second one, some directory, and it contains again some directory files, etc. These are generated by the users, but this is not fit into the Unix file system, so that we can call it as unmounted file systems. So normal user generates some directory and subdirectory there, the files. That file structure is called unmounted file system structure or unmounted file system. So if operating system or users try to access and do the file operations for these file system, this can be included with the operating system file system, that is called mounting. If you observe the third diagram, after mounting, here it is a root folder and users folder, and user folder contains all the directories generated by the users. These are attached to the users directory. Then the operating system easily identifies, it starts from the root and go to particular directory or get particular file based on the user's request. So this is the initial file system, operating system file system structure. This is the structure of the user defined files, and if these files are attached to the operating system structure, then that process is called mounting, so that the operating system easily access the files generated by the users. So the next concept is file sharing. File sharing means you are generating a file, but in sometimes that file should be used by some other people. There is a need for the other people also access that file. This is called file sharing. Allows multiple users or multiple systems access to the same file. Suppose you are working in a network environment, LAN or WAN, you are generating some files. Definitely in sometimes the other people also access those files. So here you should provide, the owner of the file should provide the permissions, and protections must be implemented. Suppose you are generating one important file, that file should be readable by all the people, but nobody edit that file. In such situation, you need to provide certain permissions, and you are restricting the accessing of the file for some kind of users. This is called protection. Okay. So the most of the operating system provide the concept of owner and a group member. So to share file system should support this kind of sharing function, and the operating system also support. And file sharing concept is mostly 100% you are implementing in case of the server operating systems, even though the client operating system allows, but client operating system allows the file system for different users who are working on the same system. But in case of server operating system, sharing files can be used by the different users at different computers. Okay. So coming to the next topic, is virtual file systems. So just imagine there is a large network is available, and it consists of different networks and having different operating systems and different client server machines. Suppose we are using one server machine in one network having its own file systems, Unix file system. So there should be a problem, because the other network having the same type of operating systems or same type of file system or some other different types of file systems. At the time there should be some connectivity issues for sharing the files, for accessing the files. So Unix operating system provides one more file system, that is called virtual file systems. Through virtual file system interface, so the operating system accesses different file systems files and convert into local file system. Okay. So if you observe this diagram, so here there is an API for the virtual file system interface. So the file system interface of the local machine, it access to the virtual file system interface. from the virtual file system interface, it accesses the local file system type. There are different file systems. If it is connected to the LAN, the LAN contains different operating system machines, local file system type 1, type 2, and if it is connected to the WAN, remote file system types through the network. So within the network, across the networks. Okay. So the operating system on the computer having its own file system, through that file system interface, it accesses the virtual file system interface. Virtual file system interface accesses all the file systems available in the local network or across the network. It converts again into the local file system interface so that any user on any machine on any file system can share the files, can access the files available on the whole network. Okay, so this is virtual file system. See, virtual file system on Unix provide an object oriented way of implementing file systems. It supports the object oriented way so that it maintains the platform independency also. So through the API only it accesses different file systems. Okay, so that is about the virtual file system. Mostly Unix flavor operating systems support these virtual file systems. So the next file system kind is remote file systems. Remote file system means you are working in one computer, you want to share your file to another computer which is available on different network. So here we can use three methods. So the first method is FTP. Using file transfer protocol, you can simply upload your files into different networks. You can download the files from different networks. And the second method is distributed file system. Using distributed file system, all the computers worked on a network. Maybe that network consists of different networks coming into one umbrella. So using distributed file system protocols and methods, we can easily distribute our files to different systems. Okay, and the third method is World Wide Web. World Wide Web you know very well. So you simply upload your files to some Google Drive. From Google Drive you share files to some other Google accounts. Like that, using World Wide Web you can easily upload and download files using some browser softwares. Okay, so first method is using FTP, and the second method is using distributed file system, and the third method is using World Wide Web. So the next topic is consistency semantics. So this is very important topic for a case of file sharing. Suppose let us assume one scenario. You are the owner of the file. Already you generated a file and you share that file to different users. At a particular time you open the file, you try to modify the content or try to add certain content. Okay, you are updating the file. If at that time other users trying to access the files, you are updating the file, at the same time the other users are accessing the files. So maybe the other users get some inconsistency data. So while you sharing the file and while giving the permission to access the files to other users, you should maintain certain things so that the data will be in consistent state. That tells a consistency semantics. So it tells at what time, at what type of rules you are providing, at what type of constraints you are developing for sharing the data. So here you can observe, specify how multiple users are to access shared file simultaneously. When you share something, you have to give how many multiple users are share the file simultaneously. So the file system of the operating system provides certain criteria. Based on the criteria you choose how many persons are going to use at a time, how many persons are going to use on a whole, how many persons are going to use, whether you are giving the right permission or not. That is one thing. And another thing is the series of accesses between file open and closed called file session. So suppose owner of the file opening the file, at that time members of the file trying to access, that is definitely gives the inconsistent information to the users. So while the owner trying to access the file at starting point and the ending point, that is called the session. So the file system generate the session for the owners. At that time no other user trying to access. Whether one session was generated, so other people cannot enter into that content. So you need to maintain the sessions also. It is called session semantics. Rights to open file not visible during session, only at close only, is kind of some synchronization. Okay, can be several copies, each changed independently. Suppose your file is sharing to some 100 users. If you are trying to update the file on a single system, definitely all the 100 copies should be changed independently without the human intervention. So these kinds of activities or functions you should maintain. You means the operating should maintains through the file systems. These are called consistency semantics. The next topic is network file system, NFS. Actually it was developed by the Sun Network, so we can call it a Sun Network file system. So it is used to share the files across the networks. In a network we can share the file. So an implementation and specification of a software system for accessing remote files across LANs or WANs. So in a single local area network we can use NFS, or in internet also we can use NFS. Actually the implementation is part of Sun operating system. Initially Sun operating system, Solaris operating system. After that it becomes industry standard. So all the network operating systems follow this file system. So in addition to these file systems, there are so many file systems available. FAT16, FAT32, NTFS also. But we are taking one example among those file systems, that is NFS only. And these file systems use UDP IP or TCP IP over Ethernet or other networks. So this file system use either UDP IP or TCP IP protocols based on the functionality. You may use UDP IP or TCP IP. Okay, so the file system is used accessing or sharing the remote files. The remote files is available in the local area network or in wide area networks. Initially it was developed for Sun operating system. Later it becomes industry standard. And for these file systems, the network protocols are used are UDP IP combination or TCP IP combination. So here you can observe three independent file systems. So user 1 for session 2. So user file directory is there and the local file. Here also user, some shared directory and directory, dir1, and user directory 2. So these files are not mounted. Individual file systems, three individual file systems. Now we will see if you mount these file systems how the structure looks like. See. So the user directory, local and dir1. So user and local dir1. From the local dir1. So this dir1 is attached to the existing file system, that is called mounting. This is called cascading mounts. So the same user folder, local file system and directory. So after getting all this, we can draw like this. This is called cascading mounts. Okay. So these are individual file systems. After mounting in NFS, the file system looks like this. So now we will see the NFS architecture, network file system architecture. It contains the major three layers. There are three major layers available in the NFS architecture. The first layer is Unix file system interface. So the Unix file system interface deals with all the file operations like opening a file, reading a file, write, close, and it provides the file descriptors for locating the files. And the second one is the virtual file system layer. So this virtual file system distinguishes the remote files from the local files. Okay, already we discussed what is the virtual file system. Using this file system you can access any file system. It acts as an interface between different file system to the local file system. And NFS service layer, this is the bottom of the layer. By using NFS protocol it implements. Now we will see the diagram. So this is a schematic view of NFS architecture. So this port is client port and this port is server port. From the client, using some system call interface, the operating system accesses the virtual file system interface. Through virtual file system interface, it may go to different file system or Unix file system or network file system client. So the network file system is divided into two parts. For client there is a network file system, for server there is a network file system. So this is the client, so network file system client part. So the virtual file system interface may access either Unix file system or NFS client or any other file system. Okay, through these file systems it stores data in the disk or it sends the file to the server by using some remote procedure calls, RPC, remote procedure calls. The data is entered into the network. Through the network again there is a remote procedure call to extract the data from the network, and it goes to the network file system server part. From there it goes to the virtual file system interface, then it is converted to the local Unix file system and again go to the hard disk of the server. So from the client, if the client sends some file to the server, first the operating system invokes a system call. It goes to the virtual file system, depends on the file system available on the client. It takes the help of any file system, then go to the remote procedure call. It converts the data according to the network. Through the network it goes to the server location, again it converted to file system understandable format by using remote procedure call. From network file system server interface it goes to the virtual file system interface, then it is converted coming to the Unix file system, then the operating system understands the file formats and then it goes to the local disk of the server. This is how network file system works. Network file system is definitely there should be a client and a server. Okay, so while you talk about network file system, there is definitely virtual file system interface is available. Okay, so this is about the remaining topics about the file system. So I hope you guys understand all these topics well. So thank you very much.